Okay. Hello everybody. So welcome. Bonjour à tous pour ce second webinaire associé au call pour les chers Anity. Si vous voulez, nous donnons encore 5 minutes pour attendre les retardataires. So everybody, we start in about 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, so hello everybody. So welcome to this webinar. The first question, we can do it in French or in English. So if you prefer it to be in English, please raise your hand and then we decide. So we are checking. So for English, raise your hand, please. Okay. Okay, so we'll do it in English. Okay. So yes, so first point concerning our interactions, what we would like to promote today is that you ask your question in the section Q&R that you are in the bottom of your screen. So this is one way to interact with us. And this is completely asynchronous, so you can do it all along the talk as you like. we will have really a section devoted to question and answers at the end of the talk. And for during this session, we will ask you to raise your hand first, and of course we will answer your question. So use Q&R for the moment until we finish our presentation, and then we will have this free interaction where you raise your hand. So let's start. First, a recall maybe for people who are just entering INITY. So it's just a background slide on what is an INITY chair. So if you are an INITY chair, you will conduct scientific research in this highly competitive environment of artificial intelligence, and you will do this in accordance with, of course, your institution, your lab. You will also, so this is what happens when you do research in general. In addition to that, you will be asked to contribute also to the life of the institute. And this takes several forms. You will, of course, be a principal investigator, so the head of a research team. You will also, you and your team will attend seminar, represent the institute at various occasions. And also, we have objects that we use to share information on research, but also on technological objects. And those tools are, for instance, afterworks and technical focuses. So you will see that there are sessions where we present technical tools, libraries, or new research ideas. You know also that INITY is not a pure academic object. The idea is to carry out research in collaboration with industrial shareholders. That makes quite a lot of sense for artificial intelligence. And we will develop again several tools, demonstrators that will be used to show the results from end to end of our research. There will be also projects that will be led inside of INITY, and finally, our task is also to educate a new generation of people to the use of artificial intelligence. And we have a program called EFELIA. It's a national program, and there is an EFELIA INITY version of it. And the goal of this is to contribute to the initial and professional training in this area. We will also contribute to the sustainability of INITY. So sustainability means we have to keep in mind that AI is evolving very quickly, and we need to update our network of collaborations, both industrial and academic collaboration. And to do all these programs, that is our research, but also maintaining connection with the various bodies of our environment, we will benefit from specific conditions. I shall explain a bit further. Oh, and sorry, yes. So I'm presenting myself. So I'm Serge Graton. I'm the scientific director of INITY. And around the table, I have also colleagues, part of the direction of INITY, and we will answer, this pool of people will answer your question. François-Marie Le Saffre, in charge of the industrial collaboration, Nicolas Vialet, who is our director of operations, and Corinne Joffre, who is our general secretary. So let us enter now into the main points of the call. So there is a deadline for submitting your chair proposals, and you probably noticed on the website that there is a template. So the deadline is May 5th. the 5th. And we chose this date in such a way that we can perform the full chair selection before the summer break. And the idea is then to integrate the selected chairs into ANITI in fall 2023. And the new chairs will actually start in January 2024. You can find all the up-to-date information related to the chair submission at the URL that you see here on the screen. We are updating this website. There is also an FAQ on this website where we try to give an answer to the question that you are asking. And if you have additional questions, maybe that are not covered by the FAQ, you can freely send us an email at the address that is indicated here, submission@ANITI2. We are adapting, especially when we answer your question, we perform some adaptation of the call for chairs. And here we try to summarize the changes that we have done so that everybody start on the same page to send the final version of the chairs. So initially we used, so you know that a chair is under the supervision, the coordination of a PI for a mono PI chair. And you have also multi-PI chairs. So one PI has, in the original call, we said that it had associates, and now we turn to the word co-chair, which is the one that we used earlier in ANITI1. So one PI has co-chairs, and each co-chair shall be involved in at least 20% of his research time. So 20% of the time would be dedicated to the ANITI chair. In the submission also, we ask for chair to provide supporting letter from the partners that contribute to the chair. So the partners, when we use the term partner, we mean industrial partners, but it could also be academic partners, institutions that are not industrial using the terminology of INR, but there are partners. For instance, CNES is such a partner. So it's a generic term for these shareholders. So this is for the website, the changes that we made on the website. Now concerning the templates, we ask you to provide the CV as an additional material. So we ask you to provide the CV of all the project contributors. So your chair as a PI, you have project contributors that may be postdocs or PhD students that you already have in your scientific environment and who will be contributing to your chair. And for those people that are already recruited and that you will bring with you in your chair, we ask you to provide the CV of those persons. Also, as I said in the first slide, ANITI is a project that is developed in agreement with the labs and also with your institutions. And this is why we ask the PI to provide a support letter from the lab and also from his main employer. And we also, the PI will be also in charge of making sure that all the co-chairs they are also allowed to take part to the chair project that is proposed. You may also want, as I said already, for the project contributors, you may have already ongoing grants that are tightly connected to your chair. And this is seen as something beneficial to Anity, and we would like you to mention those ongoing grants, the ones that are related to your project. You may have also noticed that we try to simplify the budget table at the end of the template. And the idea is to better identify the academic and industrial contributions. And we also realized that for the chairs that have multiple PIs, like the synergy and industrial chairs, maybe using only 5 pages was a bit short for such a proposal. And this is why we extended the number of pages to 8 for those multi-PI chairs. So those are all the changes that we've done on the website and on the submission templates. Now we are going to provide some information that are also this information is we selected it from the interactions that we had with you. So we had several questions on how big a chair is, how many people, and so the main idea that we would like to promote here is that the team you propose should be consistent with the scientific ambition of the chair. So how many people, it depends really on the expertise that you need for your research. What is very important is that the team is manageable. So we all know that it gives some being able to manage efficiently in teams. Teams means probably that you don't have too many partners and that you have the right ways to interact with them and to manage the whole team. So it's a very general statement, and you have to demonstrate in your project that this is the case, that you have a manageable team that is related to the scientific ambition of the project. So now, if you want to have figures, maybe we can provide you with the figures that we had in the current version of Anity. So in Anity, you have we had only chairs with 1 PI, and in those chairs you had permanent staff and non-permanent staff. So for an advanced PI means roughly more than 10 years after the PhD. So one advanced PI had 2 to 4 co-chairs to help him. For a starting PI, it was 1 to 2 co-chair. And concerning non-permanent staff involved in the chair, so for an advanced PI to start with, it was 2 PhD and 1 postdoc, and for starting PI, 1 PhD and 1 postdoc. So this is what we expect at the beginning of the life of the chair. But of course, this can evolve according to the scientific development that will happen during the course of the chair. For multi-PI chairs, you just multiply or add the figures for 2 PIs. You will more or less multiply by 2 the figures that I just presented. Concerning industrial collaboration, you had the question: is it mandatory to have industrial collaborations? It's not mandatory. So chairs can involve industrial collaboration. And it's a good way to show the industrial relevance of a chair if you want to do so. Now maybe some precision about industrial chairs, and here we must say that we don't have the rules from ANR for the submission of the new version of Anity. It's a document that we are still waiting. So we are proposing this scheme for the funding of an industrial chair. And if any change occurs, of course, we will contact you. We have the list of people who are attended the 2 webinars, for instance, and also the current Anity partners. And so if anything changes, we will let you know. But what we ask you to take as assumption for the current submission is the following. So in an industrial chair, you have 3 kinds of people involved. You have academic staff. So this is part of the academic in-kind contribution, and this can be academic permanent and also academic means that you already have. Partners that can be, as I said, industrial partners or other partners. They have also their own staff and means, and this is what we call the partner in-kind contribution. And for your project, you will need some specific staff and means, and those are the people you will recruit in the framework of your chair, so PhD, postdocs, but also as for any project, mission, internships, subcontracting, and those are what we call the marginal costs. And for the industrial chair, what we expect is that the partner would contribute to 66% of this marginal cost. We had also questions concerning the international attractivity chair. So let's remind first the goal of this is to attract either established or promising researchers to the Toulouse area. We expect from them that they are involved in at least 50% of their research time in the project, and there will be salary compensation that will be discussed with this with the person who are concerned by this international activity share and us. It's very important since we want to bring new people to the Toulouse area and to the Toulouse ecosystem. It's very important that we start a good integration of those persons as soon as possible, as quickly as possible. And this is why we would like those persons to interact with the labs and research body in Toulouse and get from them a letter of support. Maybe you don't know exactly, you are from abroad and you don't know exactly who to contact, and then maybe you should contact us so that we can provide you a description of the landscape, and so that you can contact the labs that are directly related to your project. For people who cannot be involved at the level of 50% in the project, we are working on the possibility of having visiting professors. So it's a bit different from the call for chairs that we are discussing right now, but it's something that we will try to have also in the future. So that's topics that are still open, in addition to the fact that we need a formal document from the ministry and from CNR. One topic that is quite important for all of us is, of course, the bonus and teaching relief. In the first slide, I explain why being an Anity chair, why this is very beneficial for your activity of carrying partnerial research. Of course, this takes a lot of time, especially in our area of artificial intelligence, where things are evolving very quickly. And this is why we believe that having a teaching relief is of utmost importance in the project. So we are really promoting this idea very strongly. And you probably know that I think the election of the new president of the university is just happening right now, today, this morning. Maybe the name is already known, I don't know. But we have to, so we have already a meeting this week with the new person to discuss about this teaching relief. So it's really something that we handle with a lot of care, and it's very important for us. And you may have also questions related to the way human resources or material will be handled in the framework of your chair. It's something that is again not known at the moment, because it has to be the result of the discussion that we have with the presidents and with the services of University of Toulouse. And this may, however, have a strong impact in the financial table that you have to provide at the end of your chair proposal. And our advice here is you build your project using your own assumptions. So for you, one PhD costs that amount, PhD is this amount, and you just clarify in your document the assumptions that you've made, and we will try to make this homogeneous in a further step. I think that we reached the end of the presentation. So now we will try to answer your questions. So first, we will consider the questions that were asked. And please raise your hand.
Yeah, some questions have been already raised through the tool question and answers. Everybody should be able to read the questions and read the answers. So don't hesitate to have a look on that. And if you have other questions, you can raise your hand and we can give you
speak.
Sorry.
We can allow them to speak.
Yeah. Unlock you can unlock your mic so you can raise your question verbally.
So Chloe.
Chloe, you have a question. Your mic should be open. We cannot hear you, Chloe. Maybe you can write your question in.
Chloe, so we can't hear Chloe, right?
No, we can't hear Chloe. Maybe Chloe, you can write your question in the tool. So.
Okay, so
it concerns the co-chairs for junior chairs, how it is working, what are the rules? The same as for an advanced chair.
Yes,
same rules in terms of way of working.
Yeah, so we mentioned what is expected from our experience is 1 to 2 co-chairs, but you can make your explain your research and maybe give an argument on your personal choice concerning this point.
The duration of the chair. Is there a
Tu vois les questions?
No, I don't see the question.
Okay.
Okay.
So there is a question on the maximum duration for the project, 4 or 5 years, and the final date.
This okay? This one. Okay. So we expect a 4-year project. So the duration of the chair will be 4 years. So this is the current assumption.
A question from Eric Gauthier regarding for a postdoc which is not in France for the moment. The question is, this person would be available in September only. That's right. And can this person be a chair or a co-chair? The chairs will start formally, as said by Serge, beginning of 2024. So people must be available at this date. Emiliano is raising a question regarding the acceptability for a researcher involved in a chair to be a member of the university, none in Toulouse. Any contributor of a chair can participate. To be a PI or a co-chair, your employee must be part of the ANITI consortium, which is gathering for the moment universities and labs from Toulouse. We are currently discussing potential extension with the INR to other sites, but today we don't have the answer. Anyway, it will not be outside Occitanie for sure.
Okay, so can non-permanent researchers as co-chairs? Yeah, we don't have a rule on that. A co-chair is someone who has some experience to supervise people. So people and so postdocs may have this experience. So you should justify this in your proposal.
And the duration will be maybe a criteria.
Yeah.
The person can stay.
Yes, and the person has to stay for 4 years in the chair. If you are already from between colleagues, would you advise to set up several chairs that are interconnected, or is it better to set up one single synergy chair? So here if you have to be careful, because you may have all the chairs will pass through the evaluation process, and you have to make sure that your chair is sustainable even without the others being accepted, because you cannot guarantee that all of them will be accepted. So if they are relatively independent, you can, and in fact, it's what we are trying also to build in ANITI, is collaboration between chairs. So it is strongly recommended to collaborate between chairs, but it should not be something that you cannot live without this other chair, because you are not sure of the result of the selection process. Can you briefly explain the difference among the 4 different templates? I think
they are really similar.
Yeah, they are quite close. So yeah,
It's
I think
longer for the collaborative chairs.
Yeah.
Down the pages.
Yeah, so maybe we should see that in maybe in another discussion, because we would have to go through through all the templates. But the main idea is, I think it's important to understand the idea behind the chair. So synergy is really interdisciplinary chair. And this is the main difference with the individual chairs. And for industrial, you have an important issue about the fact that the scientific question is brought by the industrial, and also the financial scheme is different. And those are the main ideas. And then for details, maybe we can interact with you later on this. A question from Corentin. Okay, so Nicolas is answering the question.
Track record.
So the track record, in the template for starting chair, it is written section C, main achievement track records. Main achievement track record refers to the element of the CV of the PI and co-chairs. Yes, you are explaining here your experience for conducting research in the concerned area. Corinne, you are answering to Etienne, right?
Yeah.
Do you have information? Excuse me. So Ruffin was asking the following question: do you have information about the composition of the international jury? You are trying to build this jury, and for the moment, we don't have more information to communicate. And our idea was not to communicate on the person attending the jury, taking part to the jury. And at the end, we will give you the names. So it will not be a public information before the summer break. Est-ce que les co-chairs, so Chloé is asking whether a chair can be accepted, but the co-chair may not be accepted. So it's a discussion that we will have with the jury. In fact, it's more either it's the same as when you have a paper. Sometimes it's a minor modification under which your work or your chair will be accepted, and then the jury may propose minor modification. But if the chair has a serious weakness from the point of view of the jury, then it may be that the chair project is not accepted. So it really depends on the case that will occur. Olivier is saying that do we want to make public the list of people who are proposing chairs? So for no, it's not something that you have in mind. Yeah, it's the same as for project, NR project or ERC project. Everybody is proposing his project, and yes, there is a risk of people working on closed areas. Yes. Sébastien. About your involvement as a co-chair in different chairs, if I understood correctly. So the rule is that you may have 100% of your time for research, or just 50 if you are enseignant chercheur. So you have to make sure that the percentage you indicate they sum up to something that is reasonable. So if you exceed 100, of course, it's not acceptable. So it's a general rule. It's the same for, I think, for other calls. Concerning the jury, so we tried to have a good coverage of all the scientific areas that are present in INITY 1, and we in fact from last year we had also several discussions with industrial shareholders, and so we anticipate that most of the research topic will remain the same, even if there may be new topics appearing in the new call. So we believe that we have a good coverage of the current topics, and if we need some expertise outside of this in the international jury, we will contact other referees for that. So you should not be worried about this. We will find the good scientific experience or specialist to to review your chair proposals. Question. Okay, so a question from Corentin. So this idea of being able to cover financially the research. So this is the rules for industrial chairs, and for the other chairs there is no rule, meaning that there is no constraint either. And there may be chairs that we call in an earlier discussion blue sky chairs where there is no industrial partner. So it is possible that you have chairs without industrial partners. Concerning intellectual property, then I will probably give the floor to Nicolas.
Yes. So for intellectual property, we will keep a similar spirit as for ANITI 1. We will promote open source approach, but give the possibility for those who want and need it to protect with specific, to protect some specific result through patent or software. And in this case, we'll apply classical way of managing it with a co-property between the academic and industrial contributors, if industrial contributors exist. And discussion about the condition for exploitation by the industrial contributors. So what we will keep this as for ANITI 1. What we are discussing so far is a simplification of the way to manage the fees associated to these rules, to make them more acceptable by industrial contributors, especially, while preserving the interest, of course, of the academics.
Okay. So there is a question on the budget table. Corinne is answering, right?
Yeah.
Yann Drier. So in ANITI, we are not giving like something like timesheets that you probably saw in other frameworks. So you will declare percentage of time spent in ANITI, and we trust that you will follow the numbers that you're giving. Cyril Amoureux. So, do we have an example of successful application? Unfortunately not, because in fact the first call for ANITI was following a different pattern, and so what we do here is different. It's closer to what you observe or what you observe in ERC goals. So maybe this is a good proxy of what you expect.
Feel free to raise your hand if you really want to speak. I'm sorry about the last time I tried, but if you want to come back on the question, yeah, sure.
Okay, so please, just so that we try our setting, please, could someone raise his hand and ask a question? Someone is.
A question. the FAQ will be updated.
Yes, so we will make a copy of a screenshot of your question
And rewrite the answers which have been given only verbally.
Yeah.
Okay. If no other questions, maybe we can close the session. If you have further questions which come later on, don't hesitate to send us an email at the address email which has been shared by Serge and which is available on the website. So last chance for new questions.
Okay. Can Synergy Chair involve private partners? Yes, of course, they can. Yeah.
Any chance of the text version of documents? Wow.
If you want to share yours afterwards.
Serge, I will not do it myself. I can't do it. But if you can, I don't know. Up to you.
Yes, we can if needed, yes. So prefer yes, we will it will be too difficult, yes. Question, Charles, for non-industrial chairs, what kind of industrial support can we provide? Support letters? Yes, support letters, and maybe as an industrial, you will be committed to have a person who will be mise à disposition, seconded, or you will provide some other resource to Anity for the project, and then we just want you to write this in a letter, and this is what we call the engagement.
It could be also a direct financial support, a CIF PhD, for example, any kind of support, specific data or whatever can support the project of the chair.
Yeah. So the slides, yes, we will make them available on our website so that you can share it. And also the session is recorded, right?
Yeah.
And you will have access to this material. You're welcome. Okay, if no more question, if nobody wants to try his mic.
There is someone who has raised their hands.
Okay.
I'm trying again. So you can start your mic, open your mic, maybe.
So Nathalie.
So Nathalie Ossenac, Nathalie, your mic is not on, it seems.
So
okay.
It's on.
Can you try, Nathalie?
We can hear you, but very. Merde.
Okay.
Est-ce qu'il est le.
Okay. It's okay.
A second, please.
Before. Yeah, but very.
Tu peux peut-être enlever ton micro.
Try again. Well, you are very far. Can you try again, Nathalie? Our sound is at maximum level and we cannot hear you. Or very.
T'es sûr qu'il est. Non, non, on prend pas ce genre-là.
Is there an evaluation at the end of the chair? And now this may speak.
Essaye.
Bon,
Okay.
Franchement, je crois.
Is there an evaluation at the end of the chair? So what we have in INETIP is that we are putting together our research material for various events that are the INETIP days you may have heard about. We have also a formal evaluation that is under the supervision of ANR, and there is an international jury that is in charge of the evaluation. So this was the way it worked in INETIP 1. So those are the main evaluation tools, and we will organize an INETIP event for the first period for the end of 2023. So it will not be a formal evaluation, but more a way for us to present our results. Paul, I understood that collaborating researchers have to provide their CVs, but since the minimum, since the minimum time involved is more flexible, do they have to also provide approval document from their lab? Yes, I think
no, not for collaborating, only for co-chairs.
Co-chair.
For the collaborating researcher, we don't ask for. Là, on a demandé à.
And for the co-chair, in fact, the chair is in charge of making sure that this involvement is understood by his institution. So I don't understand this question. Yes, there is an evaluation that is performed by the international jury, and we can share it with you. In fact, it was the one for which the decision of continuing the process was decided. So we had a jury of I think 10 international people visiting us last summer, and they strongly recommended. So they had an overview of all the activities, posters, and also presentation. And based on this material, they strongly recommended INETIP to be continued. And is the evaluation public of the international jury?
No.
No, it's
I
not.
don't think so.
It's not public, but
And this is an evaluation at the institute level, not at chair level, and there's no evaluation public at chair level.
Yeah. No more question. Finally, Nathalie has a question. Or...
I don't know, there were anonymous questions, so maybe there was one from her, I don't know.
Yeah. Nathalie, I'm sorry, did you have a chance to since we could not make the mic work, could you, or if your question has not been answered, could you use the chat, for instance, or the Q&R to ask your question?
On peut la passer par téléphone.
Yes, if you.
Si tu veux.
No, it's okay. And Cedric, should the proposal describe the PhD postdoc topics? So when you describe your research program, you will explain which part is going to be handled by which resource, and it would apply also to PhD and postdocs. Okay. Now, Nathalie, okay. So I had a question about collaborating researchers. Should they stay in Toulouse and get involved by 20% or just as needed? So collaborating researchers is not a PI, it's not a co-chair, it's just someone you collaborate with. And then it's, as for other collaboration, it's really depending on your needs. But if the person is really important for your project, you have to make sure that the involvement of this person is commensurate with the need of your project. Okay, so maybe we don't have any more questions. Est-ce que le consortium, so what kind of chair are we talking about? It's, I guess, for synergy chair, right? So yes, you can have only academic people in a synergy chair. Also for an individual chair, it could be the case as well. It's just for industrial that the rules are different.
I see the second question because I used the word consortium when I was answering about the question of which kind of university or labs could provide PIs and co-chairs. In the rules of the INR, we have an agreement gathering different academic organization, research organization to set up the rules to work together in the frame of ANITI. And this is this consortium I was referring to. And this consortium, as per INR rule, is composed only from academic organizations. And for now, on a geographical area centered in Toulouse. And this is this geographical constraints we are discussing with INR to extend it a bit, but we don't expect that it will go beyond Occitanie region.
So concerning now co-chairs for synergy chair, so you have the approximate rule for one PI, senior or advanced or starting PI. So you just sum those figures to get your synergy that will be composed of starting or advanced PI. So these are they are not rules. It's what we observed in 91. So you may have a different organization, of course, that you should make clear in your proposal. And explain why you need a given organization.
Teaching duties.
Yes, for the teaching duties, in fact, we don't have teaching duties in the new core for the researchers, and we are trying to get, as I said, teaching reliefs for PIs and co-chairs. It's still teaching is very important. So there is no, we try to have a system which is flexible. For some people, it is easy to teach and some people like to do it. And for some research activities, it makes a lot of sense. And of course, in this case, we are very much in favor of people from ANITI giving courses in institutions. So it's very important. In some other cases, it's harder, and this is why we are trying to make the rules more flexible. but teaching and professional teaching is very, very important for us.
And we encourage you to contribute to that for sure. But it's an encouragement based on a voluntary. It's a voluntary basis, not a duty.
I think that now there are no more questions. No more question.
New one,
Okay, there is one. Eric, can you explain
a bit. I
a
think.
bit the international attractivity chair?
There was a slide. Maybe you can go back to the slide.
Yes. So let's go to the international industrial and international attractivity share. So this would be, for instance, you have people who could be very important for us to have in our in IT and more generally in Toulouse. So who can be those people? It can be, of course, leaders in their area. It is what happened in the first version of Anity, where we had prominent researchers coming in Anity, and it has proved very helpful for the full community. So this is one case. But you may also think this as a kind of, it's not a tenure track, but the idea is to attract a young researcher who has or who would be maybe at the right level to apply for chargé de recherche, CR positions, or maître de conférence in France. So people who have already some experience, because this person will be in charge of running a small team. So for this younger profile, we believe that the attractivity share will be a good tool for Toulouse. And then so the person will probably contact one of you or contact directly a lab to explain his or her project, and then we can also we don't think that there will be many proposals like this one. So for those who are concerned by this, please contact us, because it's a very important point for Anity as well, to attract this kind of profile. I think that now there is no more question. Let me check again. Eric, we answered. So no more question. The discussion, okay. No. So I think we can close now this session. We will update maybe during the next week the FAQ, so that you can see the result of that and give access to the recording. And of course, we are at your disposal, and look at the web for any change. And as soon as we get some feedback from ANR to get the final rules, we will of course come back to you with this information. So thank you very much, all of you, for your attendance. And okay, hope to see you very soon in the Institute.